Well, we came to Sydney from London in 2007. Came with my wife and 2 children. We up sticks and really came out of I suppose the spirit of adventure brought us here. And it was a very exciting time for us. We're very excited about what sort of things would happen, what experiences and stories we might have to tell. And this film is an attempt to tell one of those stories. I work as a composer and musician, and after some time in Sydney I was approached by an arts company who were trying to help farmers with the terrible drought here in Australia, and they asked me if I'd be interested in composing a piece of music that might articulate these problems, which was an amazing idea, but I felt really ill-equipped to comment on this subject. So I asked if I could meet some farmers, and I ended up being sent out to this sheep farm where I met these 2 incredibly inspiring men. I'd gone with one idea of what I'd find out there, and I came back with something completely different.
The times must be tough, but hang in there, rain has to come soon.
I was quite concerned of how little knowledge I really had about the drought, so I thought before I left I ought to do a bit of research.
Pray that rain will reach the drought-stricken areas.
And I was hearing stories of bankruptcy and even suicides related to the drought problem, which was terrible.
Yeah, it is critical. Whether it's climate change or whether it's the worst drought on record, we're not sure, but it's really hitting people hard.
So the next day I was off. I was off to Arcadia, which is the farm belonging to a sheep farmer called Graham Strong. I'd be meeting him soon, and I was looking forward to this 8 or 9 hour drive out through the Sydney sprawl and into the countryside, wondering along the way what he would make of an English musician coming to work. I knew very little about Graham. I just knew that he'd won the Young Australian of the Year award for his sustainable farming techniques, and in particular the use of something called saltbush, which was an indigenous plant which he fed his sheep with. I was curious to know more.
This must be it.
We've got around 2,500 sheep at the moment, and that includes around 1,200 breeding ewes, self-replacing flock. Total size of the area is around 1,850 hectares, so it's sort of nearly 5,000 acres.
What sets Graham's farm apart from his neighbours, which are still doing the traditional grazing, is this native saltbush which he's planted in huge amounts across the paddocks. Apparently it's very drought tolerant and very hardy, and I was curious to know what caused the transition from his old methods to this new one, which is quite forward thinking.
The transition was caused by economic realities and climatic realities, and having an appropriate plan to deal with those realities. So saltbush is one of those things which addresses the climate as well, because it's once you've established it, it's very drought tolerant, provides year-round green feed.
This is Graham's right-hand man, Steve, who's full of amazing knowledge really about farming. Between the 2 of them they really keep the whole place going. And then there's Garth, who's Graham's dad, who always seems to be around helping, driving the tractor and stuff. He's been a sheep farmer all his life as well, and I think his father before him. So my first day's work, and this was the paddock where we were going to be planting 35,000 little saltbush plants. It's a pretty daunting thought. You sit on the back of this tractor and pass in the little saltbush plants into a wheel that sort of grabs them from you and plants them as the tractor moves along. And I spent hours and hours on the back of this tractor with these guys, chatting away, getting to know Graham and Steve. And, you know, they're telling me all about farming and farming life. And they were really giving me the impression that they were so enthusiastic about their work. And I got no sign at all of the difficulties of drought. It never came into the conversation. And Graham was very quick to point out to me that not all the farmers were suffering. It was also pretty obvious that these two guys got on really well, and you know, morale seemed really good. It wasn't what I was expecting, and there's plenty of happy banter, good vibes going on.
Your accent might be a bit of a giveaway.
I can fix that. What do you want?
Let's do Scotty.
Oh, hey, which one? Would you like the ale or Glasgow? I can even whack you up the side of the head with a broken bottle if you like, to make you really have the Glasgow experience. You'll always be football violent. Over there, shitting an out sheet. That's where I'm fitting in there.
What a day. In my first bit of farming work. Amazing. I was sitting on the back of the tractor with him feeding in this saltbush stuff. Feeding into machine endlessly. This kind of speed. No, not that speed, this sort of speed. Like that. I've been talking to this guy for 8 hours. Or whatever it is I've been working for. Just filling my head full of all this incredible knowledge about farming. What it's made me realise is how incredibly ignorant I am about farming. And well, why should I know any better? I don't know, but it's just been incredible. So what would be doing with these, Graham?
Oh, I'm just putting kind of a random mix of these trees, and so when you're sitting on the back, every now and again you chuck one of these in.
And this is for the shading thing, right?
Oh, it's the shade, biodiversity, just all the other benefits of trees.
We're building an M1.
Yeah.
For the small furry creatures, okay?
So they perform a different ecological niche to the other saltbush and the other trees, and have different seeds that different birds eat, which move in different ecological cycles.
Right.
So I could explain the entire benefits of trees, but it would probably take me about a week.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do nicely.
Slowly but surely, the chip in your camera would melt down and turn into a little glassy lump with some copper wires.
In all his modesty, the amazing thing about Graham is he has planted these amazing tree belts all across his property on a huge, vast scale. He really is passionate about trees and has done some amazing work to regenerate their growth. The scale of this seemed comical when I think of my feeble attempts to do my own planting the next day. My job is to plant wherever the saltbush was missed, because sometimes you drop one when you're on the tractor, it misses. My job is to put this in between, and by doing that you end up with, in this paddock, approximately 100 or so trees for shade.